If you've ever played the Generation 1 games, you might think of Magikarp as the fire sale scam that you'd switch in and out of battle until you could evolve it. It's described in the Pokédex as worthless in power and speed, unreliable, easy prey, virtually useless in battle, the most weak and pathetic Pokemon in the world. Reading those entries, I couldn't help but feel sad for Magikarp. Surely, somehow, if Magikarp could shock the world, defeating both the Elite Four and Red, it could redeem itself from the slander and return to the glorious past when no one would dare sell it for 500 Pokédollars. Sane people, of course, would take on that challenge without questioning how long it might take or whether or not it was even possible to begin with. Well, I can assure you, he will not be sane after this. Magikarp's awful stats are the fourth worst in this generation, after Sunkern, Weedle, and Caterpie. Magikarp's paltry 10 attack, which it would certainly like to exchange with its slightly higher special attack, is only outclassed by Chansey's 5 attack. The difference being that, well, Chansey has moves. Magikarp can learn no TM moves, starts with Splash only, learning Tackle at the very late level of 15. At level 30, Magikarp learns Flail, a move with damage calculated based on the attacking Pokemon's remaining health points. With a potential of 200 base power, you might assume that Magikarp has access to a veritable nuke if it lands a critical hit. But in Generation 2 only, Flail can't land critical hits. The move is going to prove useful, but its limitations will become apparent very quickly. It's often the case, regardless, that Magikarp must rely on the typeless move, Struggle, until Tackle can even be learned. Even so, passing through any trainer with a Ghost-type Pokemon requires us to void all of Magikarp's power points, or most of them, depending on the situation, and struggle for its life. In this playthrough, and in future playthroughs with Pokemon like Sunkern, routing and time management will definitely take a backseat to the challenge of even beating the game. Adventuring to obtain the 8 available rare candies before the Elite Four, fighting the extra trainers for experience, and grinding. Lots and lots and lots of wild battle grinding make it kinda impossible to know how fast Magikarp could beat the game. However, I still try to save time wherever I could. As far as I'm aware, no one has even attempted this challenge. Can Magikarp beat all of Pokemon Gold without using any items in battle? This run was a struggle. Yeah, there it is, the funniest joke you're gonna hear on this channel. Can't attack a thing until Magikarp's done jumping. With 40 power points restored every time a Pokemon Center is visited, early game training becomes a massive chore that has its speed limited by the amount of potions that you can even purchase or obtain. Metapod's the only safe way to get rid of Splash here, and we won't get the Old Rod until after Falkner. Don't start training before you go to Mr. Pokemon's house, cause he'll heal your party. I'll pretend that didn't happen to me. And by the way, don't even attempt the rival fight until at least level 7 with a berry equipped. As with many battles to come, pressing A to win with the right amount of health points is key. It's like as shallow as ESPN sports commentary, isn't it? But can you really blame me? It's just hitting A and hoping for the best. But if you were expecting the entire run to go that way, boy, are there many surprises in store for you. On a vaguely related note, I don't intend to have inconsistencies in gameplay speeds, but for the sake of shortening this video, funny right? And maintaining my sanity while grinding out like 1,000 attempts, that's no exaggeration. I bumped up the game speed to 8 times sometimes. Please forgive me. Anyway, Elm will do you the honor of healing Magikarp yet again and restoring all of Magikarp's power points yet again, before you decide to rat out your rival to the police. That's great. Oh, and I included this next bit for your viewing pleasure so that we can experience it together. Yeah, that's Metapod, and yes, this is the best way to get rid of Splash. I'll show it only one time, but believe me when I say, Magikarp had to do this over and over and over again. There isn't a move deleter until Blackthorn. Anyway, after expending all of the power points again, as much as you might want to save up more money for potions, and as much of a milestone it would be to defeat youngster Joey, it's not advisable. Skipping past these early trainers for now, and training in the grass is about all you can do. If you thought that run-of-the-mill trainers on the second route of the game would be trivial, well, they're not. After leveling up to 9, the first trainer in Falkner's gym is a super easy victory. No, that's a lie. It's not easy. It's taken almost an hour of real time just to grind to this point, and it's not going to be enough. After spending more time splashing and defeating Caterpie, the first trainer in Falkner's gym becomes manageable. It's still gonna end up being very close with just a Spearow. Did the critical hit matter? I'm not gonna question it. By the way, you don't even earn enough money for a single potion from this trainer. You know what that means, right? The next trainer? Well, yeah. Nope. No way. At level 11, it's nowhere close. Say what you will though, it is trying its hardest. I think he's doing pretty great, honestly. Oh, a crit, really? Ugh, come on. Oh, kinda comeuppance for earlier, I guess. At least wait, is that a female Oh no, 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 no. No, you've gotta be joking, no. How did I forget to reset for a male Magikarp? No. Oh, God. In Generation 2, gender's determined based on the attack DV. Magikarp can only be female if it has less than 8 attack. Surely, hopefully, we didn't get the 0 DV female Magikarp. Surely, right? No. Nope. No, it's the worst. It's the worst possible attacking Magikarp. No, I'm not gonna edit it. No, I'm sane. Definitely sane. Testing a fight against Falkner at level 13 shows that even with a berry equipped, if I had equipped it, that is, Magikarp simply does not have enough bulk to make it all the way through the fight with just struggle. At this point, with tackle on the level up horizon, I decided to grind up to level 15 to make the fight consistent and save myself the pain of having to grind with struggle ever again. Sure, that's what you expected me to say, but in truth, I couldn't help my morbid curiosity and attempted Falkner with struggle again. Unfortunately, I thought it might be cinematic if we kept using struggle, but yeah, it's definitely the case that at this level and with the berry equipped, we can take a few hits. And honestly, yeah, I should have seen that coming, I think. Losing like that is so painful. Thanks for adding insult to injury. But on the very next attempt, you don't end up getting that terrible crit luck. Well, except for in some parts. But ultimately, it didn't end up mattering. It's kinda crazy to think that we didn't even need to start using tackle yet. Struggle was enough. Is that, like, definition of a Pyrrhic victory? Yeah, sure. But did it feel good? Honestly, I can't really tell anymore. But at this point, we've been playing 10 hours and 43 minutes in game. And I've been recording for almost 3 hours in real time. Small victories, as you might imagine, don't feel small at all in this run. If you happen to notice that the game's colors seem a lot more muted than usual, it's not because you're dreaming, it's because I've applied a Game Boy Color hardware filter. When playing on anything other than the Game Boy Color, as far as I'm aware at least, Gold loses the color balance that would exist on a real screen. Since Pokemon Gold was my first game and Game Boy Color was my first handheld, there's definitely some sentimental value to this. With Falkner defeated and the route to Bugsy opened up, we're finally able to move on from struggle grinding strats. For now. The trainers on this route aren't always giving victories though. For example, Nidoran female with Growl. It is a bad, bad sign that we're having this much trouble with a Nidoran female. Really, really mega bad, not good stuff. After defeating a bunch of trainers and not opting to repel potential stat experience gains, we obtain the Old Rod, which means that whenever we need struggle, we can mirror match another Magikarp to expend all of our splashes and tackles safely. Speaking of mirror matches, the most epic battle of the entire run occurs right here. Yay! Don't even dare to skip this segment. It is integral to the character of this run, I assure you. Before we continue to Azalea Town, I thought it would be a prudent move to take on Sprout Tower in order to obtain Flash. While I usually will avoid this to save time in future runs, items like elixirs and rare candies are found in caves for the most part that, quite frankly, I have not memorized. What is spatial memory? Obviously, I didn't try it before or immediately after Falkner because Bellsprout's Fine Whip is, like, deadly for Magikarp, but no, it's still deadly. Let's shelve this aspiration for now. After emerging from Union Cave, which did require one instance of struggle, and defeating most of the rockets within Slowpoke Well, the final rocket's coughing can be dispatched fairly easily with some smog misses, struggle, and a PlayStation Network berry to shake off the poison. Any battle with any trainer in this run can be exciting, or, depending on your disposition, obnoxiously ridiculous. But hey, with an ending like that, where Magikarp hangs on by the skin of her teeth, not the worst feeling in the world. If you're wondering why I insisted on keeping struggle alive instead of healing up, I have some news for you. Oh my gosh, Kurt heals you too. Oh, I forgot. No. The second rival fight and Bugsy will prove to be insurmountable challenges without using it to some extent. You might as well take on Bugsy's trainers. After defeating all of the trainers in the gym, instead of facing Bugsy right away, I chose to give Sprout Tower another try at level 20 with Struggle. Bellsprout is now a 2-shot, and its Fine Whips are only doing 10 damage. Not bad. Though, if I'm being honest, this Hoot Hoot's kind of putting me on edge. Getting really low on health points. Oh, thank goodness for Foresight. Oh, thank goodness for the critical hit. I don't know if that was happening. Let's just not think about it anymore. Let's just take the yeah, we're gonna take Flash and just go. Let's hold on to this victory for a moment, because where we're going, close battles like this are gonna become a distant memory. On the first try, see that Magikarp's tackle looks to be extremely weak against Metapod, trading blow for blow, probably to the point where Magikarp has only 2/3 of her HP left for Kakuna and Scyther. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, this isn't looking great. Oh, and since I haven't pointed this out already, note that tackle isn't 100% accurate. Give me more excuses to default to struggle Game Break. Now that Kakuna comes out, we have to worry about being poisoned by Poison Sting. And there it is, right there. I forgot the Poison Cure Berry, of course, so that's that. That's a wrap. I don't think this is happening for a while. And as it turns out, I was right. After that abysmal performance, I decided to opt for Struggle and a Poison Cure Berry to pass Kakuna. And having 10 health points, even if we're not poisoned, it's just not gonna be enough. Since we already have Struggle prepared, maybe the second rival battle's winnable. In theory, definitely not a bad idea to test whether we can one-shot the oh, Lick Paralysis? 3-shot? 4-shot? You've gotta be joking. Oh my goodness, not even this fight. Yeah, okay, a crit. Zubat's a 4-shot too? Or a 5-shot? I can't do math, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness gracious, this is such a disaster. I don't even know where to go. I don't know what to do. I guess we just grind. I guess it's just grind city. Magikarp still can't even beat this spinner that I had to leave behind earlier. But at least this fight illustrates a great point. Geodude, tons of defense. Magikarp, low attack. Results, lots and lots of damage taken and lots of recoil damage taken. And now for the flip side. Wait, no, don't miss. Illustrate my point. Or feel free to miss again. Never mind. Magikarp's leveled up to 25 now. Don't ask how long that took. And to illustrate the point I was trying to make earlier, higher damage ranges means more survivability. But if that gave you some kind of faint glimmer of hope that maybe Magikarp's time at Bugsy would improve in any tangible way thanks to these levels? No. Like, sure, Metapod looks to be in the 5-shot range now, but it was never Metapod that we were really scared of. Magikarp's greatest foe in this fight? No, it's not Kakuna either. That was a fake out. No, it's Scyther, with the Fury Cutter barrage that seems to never miss. Quick attack priorities are really not good either. In the second try, Metapod goes down pretty easily again, and we get an opportune crit too. That's some nice crit damage. But that's where the good feelings kinda come to an end. Kakuna lands a critical hit Poison Sting. Sure, it doesn't poison, but it's not helpful. We take another crit Poison Sting, of course. And after Kakuna goes down, out comes Scyther again. If it lands another Fury Cutter, I think that's curtains. Even that crit was pretty pathetic, honestly. Suffice it to say, after many attempts, Magikarp couldn't cut it against Scyther. At level 25, could Magikarp beat the second rival instead? It really comes down to how things go with the Ghastly. First turn Spite, not bad. Struggle has no power points. And Ghastly's a 3-shot now. Great. Oh my gosh, you've got to be joking. It's not a 3-shot still? Oh, Supersonic! Oh my goodness. No, it was going so well. We have a berry, I guess. Hope we snap out of confusion. Oh, come on. Water Gun's chip damage, that's what we want to see. We're not gonna have enough health points. This was so in the bag. Magikarp had this. You hate to see it. It was so close, it can definitely be done. But on the next attempt, Magikarp gets put to sleep, and when Magikarp wakes up, yeah, like paralysis. Lots of different ways that Magikarp can lose this one. Here, Magikarp gets confused, and on the turn that he hits herself in confusion, Croconaw uses Leer. Goodbye, bulk, hello, guaranteed fainting. Okay, not guaranteed fainting. More so like your chances of winning are guaranteed to be 0, but you still have to endure the sight of this cartoon caveman alligator skewering your Magikarp. It's brutal. But Magikarp can always snap back with brutality of its own. Now all that stands between Magikarp and a glorious victory is whether or not Croconaw keeps using Water Gun. Oh my goodness, does every battle with Magikarp have to come down to the wire? Finally, some progress. Cosima, stop hating yourself. Okay, while he simmers on that, let's go back to Bugsy. Surely, after all that, we can beat Bugsy now, right? Maybe if our luck against Scyther was better. Kakuna and Metapod have become very consistent feints. Spoilers, it's not happening at level 26. The number of attempts that I had to take at this level was absurd. I'd equip the Poison Cure Berry only to need the berry at Scyther. If Magikarp had the berry equipped instead, he'd get poisoned. Here we actually get pretty decent luck against Scyther. It missed Fury Cutter and it's at half health. That kind of luck though just isn't going to shake out in Magikarp's favor. Even after leveling up to 27, Magikarp still can't take down Scyther. I started trying to think of a different potential strategy here that wasn't just level all the way up to 30 and get Flail, and I did finally realize something. Magikarp could avoid the recoil from Struggle on at least the Metapod by having a few power points in Tackle. While the first several attempts didn't work out, I've spared you having to watch them all, and there's only so many ways you can press 8ON. This attempt had the magic we needed. What's the key to defeating Scyther? Hope that it doesn't use Fury Cutter a bunch of times in a row. I happened to equip the berry this time and not the Poison Cure berry. With all this help and with an opportune critical hit, there's no way that this could come down to the wire in some way. Do you? Yeah, it did. Yeah, last Fury Cutter landed a critical hit. Almost gave me a heart attack, but we did it. Magikarp did it. Magikarp won. Clearing my head for a second, that Tackle to Struggle strat is gonna come into play later in a massive way. The nice thing about RNG for trainers like Bugsy too is that there's several factors that are up to chance that can either occur or not occur in random patterns. In the worst fights, we're at the mercy of simply pressing A and hoping for the best. While Bugsy might have been challenging, we have no idea whether or not Whitney will pose more of a threat to our hardy fish. There's no chance that we attempt Whitney's gem until we fight all the trainers we can and learn Flail at level 30. Given that we're only just now breaking into level 28, can't say for certain that Magikarp's gonna make it, but we can certainly try. The trainers around Goldenrod that we need to fight are hellish for Magikarp. This hot stuff here's trying to impress his girlfriend by having his Sandshrew use Sand Attack a million times. Good stuff. That's not the only trainer to avoid. If you're heading north in National Park, there's the Raichu trainer. One wrong turn and you'll face the invincible Tangela trainer. We can't even manage to beat this Venonat. If I showed every trainer fail, we'd run way over 2 hours, so I've left a bunch out. Kind of unfortunate. Pretty entertaining stuff. Anyway, after this fight and many more, Magikarp levels up to 31 and knows Flail. Ideally, we'd leave Magikarp at around 4% total health in order to net the 200 base power, but it's not so bad to settle for 150 or even 100 base power. For Whitney though, it's crucial that we either start the fight with 3 HP or less, or achieve that HP in the course of the fight. Just like ridding our Magikarp of Splash power points for Struggle, we also have to shred Magikarp's health points every time we want to alter the Flail range. On top of that, at such low HP, Magikarp is a sitting duck fish. Let's just see how the first attempt goes. In the first attempt, I wanted to test Flail ranges on both the Clefairy and the Miltank. Though at this HP range, it almost seems like this is too much of a risk. At the same time, we barely do anything to Miltank as it stands, and yeah, one stomp and you're out. Having 9 HP to start is no good either. The Clefairy can easily feint Magikarp because this isn't a one-shot. A 150 base power Flail against the Miltank isn't even a 2-shot. That is a bad sign. Can 200 base power Flail save Magikarp from further grinding? Not even a 2-shot. Instead of leveling up even further, I opted to go hunt down the pink bow. You can get the bow at the radio tower later, but since it will slightly increase the power of Tackle and Flail, it's worth going back to grab it. In the next attempt, it's clear that even with the pink bow, Magikarp's still not able to 2-shot the Miltank unless it's a range. And we need rollout to miss. Until we get Serve, we can't go back to Slowpoke Well to get the King's Rock, which would be so useful for this fight. Oh, that's just cold. Leech Seed against a Miltank? No thank you. Okay, Bubble Beam's interesting. Maybe we'll be in a really good range. I'm definitely just getting my hopes up, but 6 HP? 2 HP, oh my gosh. No, come on, no. Ugh. On this attempt though, we got really good luck with the HP ranges that Miltank served us. Even though we barely managed to lose, if our damage was just a little bit stronger, this would be in the bag for sure. I honestly thought that this attempt was a bust. I went for Tackle and Magikarp missed, but then Clefairy missed. Clefairy mimicked Tackle. Oh, I have no Tackle. Flail just randomly hit A and hope for the win? Yeah, you betcha. Hitting Miltank here does like nothing, but Miltank misses rollout, giving us another turn to attack. Now we're at 20 HP. And now 2, and that's it! That's all it takes. After hanging on by the skin of her teeth? Do fish have teeth? Scratch that? I don't want to know. I don't know. I never knew. Winnie was surprisingly easy compared to Faulkner and Bugsy, but did have Flail, and that won't matter for Morty. After the fight, I decided to grab a few drinks from the vending machine in anticipation of Morty's ghastly shenanigans. Smashing A bunch of times to get the items to micromanage HP later? That's fun. No, like you're actually gonna sit through I'm kidding. But no, you're gonna sit through this instead. I just want you to appreciate the mind-numbingly tedious process of expending power points against another Magikarp I can provide. Maybe you'll even get secondhand carpal tunnel. Ugh. While this goes on, I did want to mention this was my first time ever recording and editing footage of any kind. In a number of areas, I totally dropped the ball. Some audio stuff, not resetting for a male Magikarp, or routing decisions, and for some reason, until Jasmine, I forgot to set a reset button on my busted up controller, so there's a bunch of pointless cuts. Oops. Hopefully you guys can forgive me for all the hiccups this time. I ended up losing footage of Chuck and their route to Cyanwood too, but we'll get to that later. Since I'm one of those cringy 30-year-old office ladies, everything I do has to be done perfectly on the first try. At least, that's how I'd like it to be. I wanted to say that I'm also new to solo running. I mean, I've done a lot of party runs with my own rules over the years, but nothing has ever been quite as challenging as this, and I have mad respect for all the other solo runners. Matt, J-Rose, and RBY, they're all great. Anyway, it's time for the Kimono Girls, and honestly, I expect that Magikarp can get through every single one of them, one after another, without even healing, save for Jolteon. As it turned out, that expectation proved to be completely right. For Magikarp's sake, let's just pretend that the evolutions here aren't at level 17. You know, like, we're not level 34 or anything. No, this is a real power play, a real sweep. I mean, it technically is. Like, the whole goal is just to lower our health points with all the other evolutions, hopefully get into 200 base power range, and finish off the Jolteon. Honestly, it's simplistic, but when it's executed, it does feel pretty good. If I'm being honest though, I just went into this blind. I didn't remember which girl had which Pokemon at all. This was all luck. This was just all luck. Oh my gosh, it's so shameful. Well, the Jolteon will zap me down for my arrogance at least. One Thundershock and you're out. Though, is that kind of getting repetitive? I feel like that happens with a lot of moves. Let's not think about that. Instead, how about we think of something much worse? Magikarp doesn't one-shot the first trainer's Ghastly. That's so bad. Every single Ghastly knows Curse, and Curse, when you don't one-shot stuff, is devastating. Every turn that you take where you haven't fainted an opponent and you're cursed, that's a gigantic chunk of your health gone. This isn't gonna happen for a really long time. After getting ghost busted by Sage Ping, we do at least have some new routes and dungeons, I use that term super loosely, to explore for some much more genuine grinding. While we're on Route 39, it's a good time to point out there's a fatal flaw in the max power flail strategy, priority move. We've seen them earlier, but quick attack and extreme speed are always going to go first. This is a problem for a few random trainer battles, but later on, it's gonna come into play and it won't be pretty. After trouncing most of the trainers in the lighthouse, I went to Mount Mortar and the Lake of Rage before returning to Morty's gem. But before that, at the Lake of Rage, there's a Magikarp and Gyarados trainer. Is there anything more poetic than a single, barely breathing Magikarp taking down her siblings in her own backyard? On 2 HP? Anyhow, level 38 just wouldn't be good enough to fight Morty. Level 40 or 41 would be ideal. At least, that's what I'm hoping. For the trainers, this is sufficient. We now one-shot the Ghastly and avoid Curse entirely. As you can see, it's one shot after one shot after one shot. Definitely a far cry from where we first were. Please excuse my word salad. Morty himself, however, is another story. First Ghastly cannot be one-shot. At some point, one of Morty's Pokemon will either paralyze us, as in the first attempt, or throw down Curse. I have the Mint Berry equipped to deal with Gengar's Hypnosis, so that's no good. There's essentially no chance, without extreme amounts of luck, that we can manage to get through the entire team with struggle while hemorrhaging so much HP. There's simply no path forward at Magikarp's current level. There's nowhere else to grind. As I said earlier in the video, Magikarp will gain some more stat experience by battling tons and tons of wild Pokemon, but the tedium is slowly rotting my insides. Oh, and here's your vending machine montage, I could. This run does seem to involve a lot of waiting though, doesn't it? Well, wait no longer. For the Mint Berry at level 44, we're nearly able to beat Morty, but Magikarp just barely fails to take down the final Haunter. By the way, while I'm not showing the failed attempts, Ghastly would end up cursing Magikarp quite a lot. The first run would prove to be the best. It wasn't until Magikarp reached level 48 that she was finally able to pull off a victory against Morty. Ghastly is now a one-shot and Haunter is a two-shot. Next up, Gengar. Scariest thing alive. Or dead? Whatever. Hypnosis missed. And that pretty much seals it. After that, it's just a matter of putting the Haunter down. Can you put the Haunter down? Is it already down? Whatever. Morty's defeated. And with Morty's defeat, we can finally access the King's Rock in Slowpoke Well. This held item will be absolutely essential to completing the run, if we even can. Gaining a 12% chance to flinch the opposing Pokemon, when Magikarp is 99% of the time going to outspeed, is crucial. Since Magikarp has such terrible bulk and easily succumbs to status, eliminating as many of the opponent's turns as possible will become the main strategy. As I made my way to Cyanwood, fighting Tentas and Swimmers, something unfortunate happened. My PC crashed. At first, I was completely devastated because I thought I'd lost everything to this point. Luckily, all I lost was footage of Chuck's gym trainers and Chuck himself. It might surprise you, probably won't, to know that Chuck was the easiest battle in the entire run. Even so, after I was done recording, I went back on the save and tried it again. As is extremely clear, without even healing at all and with the King's Rock equipped, getting past Primeape is just too easy. So easy, in fact, that I thought I'd lose this one because Magikarp didn't have low enough HP to knock out Poliwrath with Flail. Despite that, Poliwrath wasn't even able to put much of a dent on Magikarp's HP, even after being put to sleep. This was the first, and really only true first try victory of the entire run. I gotta say, I am so proud of this fish. Yeah, you lost to a Magikarp. Congratulations. There is a lady who won't lose to Magikarp at all, and her name's Jazzy from Olivine. Yeah, it went as poorly as I expected it to. While you might think that Paralyzed Cure Berry would be the play here, the Magnemite are, at this level, both 3 shots, and they'll just keep using Thunder Wave until it lands. On the off chance that for some reason they decide not to, Thunderbolt. And honestly, what's worse? A paralyzed Magikarp or a non-existent Magikarp? Even if Magikarp does make it to Steelix, and it'll pretty much guaranteed be paralyzed, it's still gotta contend with Screech, which will lower defense really low, and Iron Tail, which can also lower defense. Not to mention that Steelix is insanely bulky. Yeah, this struggle is in vain. But a struggle not in vain, Magikarp fighting her arch rival, the shiny Gyarados, in the Lake of Rage. Can Femkarp become Queen of the Lake? Even with the Thrash crit, it seems our Magikarp has surpassed even its evolved form. This isn't a cope, I assure you. This isn't a cry for help. In all seriousness, the power play is to blast through the Team Rocket hideout section and take down Price. First try? I think it will be. After dispatching the fairly obnoxious trainers in Price's gym, the ones that have Pokemon that know rest, finally have a chance at obtaining our 6th gym badge. I really thought we'd win on the first try after so easily defeating Chuck. However, I overlooked the fact that Dugong can wrest away Magikarp's power points, the occasional Aurora Beam attack drop. Okay, yeah, I'm basically just trying to come up with some fancier way of saying I screwed up. Yeah, I really did. If we would have healed before that fight, we would have won it. And in the very next attempt, that's exactly what happens. And honestly, I'm kind of glad we had the second take, because this victory was amazing. Get the Dugong flinch, no attack drop, no flinch there, but now we're in really good flail range. Yeah, I know, Dugong was boring, but I promise it gets better. I just wanted to use Tackle to get some flinches and make sure that Piloswine would not be in healing range. Turns out, getting hit by a critical hit Blizzard, that amount of HP left means you get left at 1 HP. Knocking out Piloswine like that with Flail on 1 HP? Cinema. With Price defeated and the Rocket hideout in shambles, the only battle open to us now is Jasmine. Until Jasmine's defeated, there's no way to progress. The Goldenrod Radio Tower questline can't be unlocked until we get our 7th gym badge. With all that in mind, I decided to visit the Whirl Islands and grab some much needed items for the Elite Four. On 8 times speed, I found that the best place to train is right in front of Olivine Pokemon Center. Conveniently tedious. But let's get back to Jasmine. As you can see at level 58, well, I guess you can't see due to the paralysis. It seems Magikarp's really close to pulling off a victory. After taking down both Magnemite in less turns, Magikarp reaches Steelix with a lot more HP. Looks like a 10 shot now. Like, that might not sound good, but it's due until the Hyper Potion. I forgot. No. I can't keep doing this. No, I can't keep doing this. No, I can't let it in here. And I know that means leveling up a bunch, and there's no trainers left, and there's only wild Pokemon at really low levels. But it can't in here. Thus, Magikarp levels up to 60. Surprisingly, it almost works out. Getting back to Steelix has become consistent. In fact, thanks to multiple Iron Tail misses, lack of many defense drops, and flinches from King's Rock, Magikarp was nearly able to take down Steelix after a Hyper Potion. Magikarp now has 77 HP after this entire onslaught. And if you notice, Screech missed, Irontail missed, Steelix keeps going for Sunny Day. This fight's winnable, but then that happens. If we hadn't have gotten that defense drop, that would have been in the bag. Too bad we got the defense drop at the end. The next run and the ones after didn't go so well. That's why I made the executive decision to torture myself further by continuing to level up. As you can see, it's become so slow now that the bar barely moves when defeating Tentacle. I sincerely wish I could give you guys the exact amount of time we'd spent to this point, like in real time, not game time. But I genuinely have no clue. I lost track, and all I have is the footage numbers. 23.5 hours total. For the whole thing, not to this point. But still. Oh gosh, now I'm losing track. At level 63, I tried fishing for better patterns of luck. I sincerely believed in the power of Femcart. As it stands, there'd be no victory, only suffering. For the sake of keeping the video short, as short as it could be, I've skipped over tens of attempts that essentially follow the same losing script. Over and over and over and over again. Is level 65 in the cards? 68? 70? Like you really start to wonder. Paralysis, Thunderbolt, Irontail, Screech. Like this Magikarp's seen it all. This Magikarp has seen the horrors of war over and over and over countless times. I feel so bad for her. I feel like it's my fault. Oh goodness. Jasmine, can you lend us some of that secret potion, please? You put such a wallop on her. Over and over and over. We get so close, especially here. And as you can see, it takes so long, like every single attempt. You never know what's gonna happen, so you can't reset too early. Like, even if you're paralyzed, you can't reset. I mean, I should have reset here, obviously, but whatever. Like, can you blame me? Okay, one more try. Just one more try. Oh hey, nice miss, alright. Okay, another Thunderwave miss, great. So we're not paralyzed. That, like, hasn't happened yet. No defense drop? No, defense drop! Okay, a miss. Okay, a Screech miss. Sunny Day. Alright. Oh my gosh, like, I don't think that's enough help. A flinch. A miss. Sunny Day. A flinch. A miss. Oh my gosh. That was just my last throwaway attempt. I was gonna go raise Magikarp's level to like 65. Oh my gosh. There's no way. We passed it. Magikarp did it. No X attack, no X defend, no healing items. Oh my gosh. I'm in a state of shock. I don't... Okay, time to keep a level head. Okay, we're not done with the game yet. Party's over. The run from here is boring. Well, I usually say that. You know, the call from Professor Elm about Team Rocket taking the radio tower over. Usually I'd be super bored and exasperated. But in this run, you never know what could transpire. Hey, what's with that attitude? How could you? The executive with the 6 coughing was the only annoying battle here, and it did take a few attempts. Here's the most exciting battle in the game. It's not based on just mashing A and hoping or anything. Oh, no. This is some grand strategic thinking. Stuff Brand Corporation could only dream of. Stuff that Karl von Clausewitz could never have thought of. That's right. This is a well-drawn-up, brilliantly executed war game. All you have to do? Press A and don't get poisoned. I went ahead and put a patent on the strategy, so you can use it too. Just make sure to send some money my way first, or you might want to suit up with some really snazzy lawyers. But yeah, in all seriousness, as the fight drags on, Flail becomes more powerful and the fight becomes more winnable. Just really don't want to get poisoned early on. Actually, it'd be super chill if I could just have Magikarp rematch this guy and is coughing forever, instead of having to progress to the next part of the game. Yeah, it's rival time. At level 64, you'd assume this fight would be a cinch, but with all fights featuring our favorite Femcarp, you never know what to expect. Now, Femcarp has to contend with this Magnemite, and it's not a one-shot, and that's paralysis. Awesome. And Haunter? Curse. Yeah, that's it. I was curious to see if we two-shot Sneasel, but... okay, a crit. Yeah, who knows. On the second attempt, we don't get paralyzed, and we actually don't get cursed by Haunter. Unfortunately, we don't two-shot the Sneasel, and yeah, looking at the health, it's not looking great. Next up is Feraligatr, and yeah, not doing a whole lot of damage. Not a good sign. In the third run, Magikarp gets excellent luck, passing the Magnemite and Haunter with very little damage, no paralysis, and no curse. Crit on the Sneasel is the cherry on top. At Feraligatr, well, it doesn't look like we have much health points, and Magikarp really doesn't, but Scary Face is fantastic. Gives us another oh no. No, that was so close. Yeah, Magikarp's gonna have to level up again. Because I got really bored of grinding above Goldenrod, I stopped in Union Cave to grab some more items, and then I headed out to the Ruins of Alph. This is, like, definitely one of my most favorite spots in the game. It's remote, and it's tiny, and it's filled with Natu. Super cool. By the way, while we're here, I should probably mention how I'm feeling about Magikarp's chances at beating the entire game. In all honesty, I'm pretty hopeful. Magikarp might be simplistic, but the dynamics of fights can radically change depending on how much damage she deals and how much damage she takes. How much she starts with, how many power points she has left. Oh gosh, I'm trailing off. Anyway. Even at level 68, I'll spare you the failed attempts again after this one. Feels like Magikarp just doesn't have enough health. But in the winning battle, I was proven completely wrong. Against Golbat, well, it flinched. Great. Wing attack's not bad. Hopefully that luck continues well. I mean, you know it does, because I already said that it's a win. Yeah, the crit on Magnemite. Really awesome stuff. Surely, yeah, a flinch on the Haunter. Can't get better luck than this. Well, I guess you could, maybe on the Sneasel or the Feraligatr, whatever. You know what I mean, like the first few. Yeah, 49 HP might not seem like a lot, but a crit flinch definitely seals it, I think. Fight. Another crit! Oh my god! Let's just pretend like we didn't need the crits, and let's pretend that that was totally consistent and not based on luck or anything like that. Yeah. Magikarp won. She won. And fortunately for all of us, there's nothing left of the rocket section. There's totally no way you guys are into that, right? Like, the rocket section? Don't give me that. No, please. Like, it's so boring. It was so boring. And this stupid puzzle tripped me up as a kid so much. I spent hours trying to figure it out. Just no. Now that the obnoxious Feastables peddler's gone, the path to Blackthorn is finally open. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to see here. I mean, like, seriously, I could have included maybe the footage of me looking like a fool as I tried to navigate the ice cavern, even though at this point in my life I should have it memorized by heart. Oh, and just by the way, here's this obnoxious Rhyhorn. Not sure how it's relevant. This definitely is. The move deleter. After all this time, we can finally get rid of Splash. Hallelujah. Now the struggle of struggle is a lot less of a struggle. try figuring that one out. Heading into Claire, we are feeling hot, and it's not because of the gym environment, it's because Magikarp is on a roll. As you can see, pretty good luck here. Avoiding the Thunder Wave without even getting a flinch. And, well, yeah, another Thunder Wave miss. Thunderbolt, wow, it actually does a lot less than I thought. Oh, there's Paralysis, okay. Yeah, Thunderbolt again. Yeah, that's it. It's over. Goodbye, Magikarp. In the second attempt, we get pretty much the same result. If Magikarp wants to become a dragon, she's gotta beat Claire and do her Claire whining about losing. While the strategy does need to change, I think level 70 is sufficient. In this attempt, Magikarp makes it all the way to Kingdra, and even though it's not 200 base power, it's still quite a powerful flail. But Kingdra's way too bulky, and easily dispatches Femcarp to the Shadow Realm. It's looking like we'd need 2 flinches on the Kingdra and no Thunderbolt or Paralysis from the Dragonair. Except for Chuck and Price, I'm sure this is getting really old. Lots of attempts, lots of ways to fail, one way to win. If you're expecting anything different, I'm not sure what to tell ya. We need all these flinches on the Dragonair, and we do get it here. But if a single Dragon Breath lands, yeah, that's it. At this point, there were 2 sides of me pushing and pulling. One side said, try max power flail. The other said, try to have Magikarp's HP reduced during the battle. Well, the HP reduction side won out. At 49 HP this time, well, Dragonair misses the Thunder Wave, so not really sure about anything yet. On the second Dragonair, we get hit with Thunderbolt and 2 HP. Oh my goodness, that's perfect. We get to test both out at once now. Aren't I a genius? No, it was just happenstance. Whatever. Kingdra, do we one-shot? No, we don't. Oh my gosh. Okay, so neither of those strategies are gonna work. Magikarp's gonna have to get a King's Rock punch for sure. You really learn a harsh lesson in this run. And it's that the best strategy in some of these fights is just to pray to chance. Yeah, one-shotting all the Dragonair with Flail. Unfortunately, we don't one-shot Kingdra, but if we get a flinch, yeah, and no heal. Yeah, it was just pure luck. There was no skill to it. Might I just add real quick? Femcarp with 0 DVs cleared all of Johto's gems with no items in battle. With all of those gem badges in hand, and this sketchy CIA guy narrowly avoided, it's time to honor Gen 1. Wait, seriously? You don't know what I'm talking about? You just took your first step into Kanto? I mean, it's time to face the Elite Four. Or at least that's what I want to say, but Route 26 and 27 would prove to be quite a challenge of its own. Instead of showing the victories and the grinding, why don't we have a montage of the losses while I yap? If you haven't noticed up to this point, we haven't used a single rare candy yet. Before you get to Kanto, you're only able to obtain 8 rare candies in total. Most require going too far out of the way to be justifiable in a usual run, but not this run. In these losses, a terrible feeling started to well up in me. If these trainers are this much of a struggle, and in fact we'd have to use struggle to pass the Magneton, which sparked me testing it on the other trainers, what's the rival fight gonna be like? And if we can even get past that, how much strength can Magikarp truly muster against an even tougher opponent in Karen? Let alone the rest of the Elite Four, which can only be fought as a series of 4 battles without being able to manipulate HP or power points. It's really not looking good. In the entirety of the run, I hadn't considered whether or not this challenge might be impossible. I hadn't thought twice since the beginning of the run about the 0 DVs either. As tough as things had been up until now, there was never a doubt that the battles were possible. That's about to change in a big way. Do you say you don't believe me? Well, you're about to find out, because at the rival fight, all of this is about to fall apart in spectacular fashion. After getting through the routes to Victory Road, Magikarp reaches level 75. As you're about to see in the first attempt, this level is nowhere close enough to win this battle. There is no amount of luck that can make up for Magikarp's terrible attack stat when it's forced to use Struggle at this point in the game. The recoil damage doesn't help either in a battle against this many Pokemon. At this level, Sneasel takes either 2 or 3 hits. That's one too many opportunities for Sneasel to damage Magikarp with Feint Attack, or launch a Screech that instantly makes the fight unwinnable. Even worse, Magneton looks to be either a 3-shot or a 4-shot. Again, way too many chances to get paralyzed or taken out by Thunderbolt. Even if Magikarp manages to defeat Magneton, if Sneasel uses Screech, Wing Attack is devastating. Even with extreme luck, that doesn't address Haunter and Kadabra not even being one-shots. Like, that's absolutely absurd. Kadabra's defense is so low. At least we get to see the Future Sight animation, I guess. Or not. Okay. As terrible as this is going to end up being, it's certainly a litmus test for the viability of the rest of the run. The Elite Four, Blue, and Red. We're reaching a point where future growth will be impossible. Reaching level cap. And if we're struggling at this point in the game, it's a bad sign of things to come. While this run looks good due to extremely great luck, it exposes the fact that Magikarp just doesn't have enough HP to make it all the way through at this level. I'd love to throw over some commentary, but unfortunately for us, this battle's going to prove to be even more frustrating than any fight Magikarp's already had to take. And the only solution? A soulless, multi-hour real-time grind, while occasionally going back to test whether or not it was even possible at every damage rounding threshold. There are almost no variations on the strategy that can be used. The only variation, quote-unquote, that ended up mattering was saving a couple tackle power points for the Sneasel, only to avoid taking an unnecessary 20 recoil damage at the start of the fight. Everything else was chance. The only thing to do by leveling up is lessen the amount of hits we end up taking and amount of damage we deal to each Pokemon. As we rise higher and higher in level, with more and more attack and more bulk, the fight's turns shrink down every time Magikarp's damage range moves the needle on how many hits it takes to feint each opponent. Combining this with King's Rock, which has chances to completely eliminate the opponent's turn, it's really a matter of, once again, grinding and mashing A. Paralyzed Cure Berry, I can assure you, would only save us from Magneton. Flinches are the only cure for this fight, and we won't have enough HP without it. While I'd like to show every single attempt, I am not exaggerating when I say that every threshold, up until the winning run, was pure misery. No, this is not some epic fake out. No, Magikarp doesn't win in this attempt. Like, it looks so good, it looks so nice, and I can assure you in the moment, I was so excited. But guess what? 1 or 2 HP. It survived on like 1 or 2 HP. Yeah. Did it look close? Yes. But was the amount of luck insane? Yes. Given that we barely have any levels left to gain, I was genuinely afraid the run would be voided completely at this point. Or that I'd have to replace this Magikarp with the perfect Magikarp. Like 15 DVs. If you think I'm exaggerating, watch the quality of attempts at level 90. Yes, I kid you not. After hours and hours of additional real time with possibly hundreds of attempts at various levels, we've arrived almost to the point where popping rare candies is finally an attractive idea. Throughout these attempts, I was going completely mad and switching out held items in the vain hope that maybe, somewhere, some kind of luck would break my way, even though I knew the King's Rock was the only way to go. Please understand, my sanity at this point had reached new highs. Okay, it's been a bit since we had a play-by-play, so how about I deliver it to you like John Madden? I'm not, because I suck at impressions and I suck at accents. Instead, I'll just deliver it as myself. Hopefully that's good enough. if you're still here, I guess it is. Whatever, the Paralyzed Cure Berry actually worked this time, and it's not enough. At least it serves as a proof of concept run. If I didn't mention already, this is not a win. I'm sorry if that was misleading, but no. At least Kadabra's a one-shot now. Little victories much. This is the real heartbreaker though. As you can see, Feraligator's not doing a whole lot of damage without crits. And then it crits. And then it crits again to add insult to injury. But guys, it's doable. But hypotheticals don't matter. How about we see if it's doable in practice? Just a Fury Cutter's not bad at all. If Magneton doesn't actually land a pair— oh, a critical hit! Okay, and a miss. Nice! That is what we like to see. Okay, Bite, that's not bad. No Confuse Ray. Oh, Confuse Ray, are you joking? Okay, she didn't hit herself in confusion. Great. Please no curse. Please no curse. I mean, look, yes! Okay. Oh my gosh. No. Okay, didn't hit herself again. Nice. Confuse no more. Oh my god. I think we got this. It's just for Alligator now. Just don't crit. Okay. No crit. Okay. No crit. I think it's it. I think that's it. That's it. Oh my god, a crit just to spite us. It doesn't matter though. Oh my god, it's finally over. It's finally over. Oh my god, I've been here for so long. Okay, I have to calm myself. It's not anywhere close to over. This is not the end. Oh my gosh. After 56:34 in-game time, our beloved Femcarp, having defeated her rival for the final time, is certainly poised to become a dragon. That euphoria will be short-lived. It's time for the Gauntlet of Gauntlets. The Elite Four with a 0 attack DV Magikarp that can't use any X items is going to be the hardest challenge I've ever faced. While I haven't ever done solo runs, and all the frustrations I've faced with incredibly weak teams at real speed on real hardware, nothing would compare to this. In the first attempt against Will, it's clear that even at level 91, we're not gonna 3-shot the first Zaytu, and we're barely gonna put a dent in Executor. Very, very bad. Zaytu can hit us with more Psychic, and Executor can have more chances to throw out Leech Seed. It's not a winning formula. By the by, my plan is to take on the Elite Four without saving him between, but at a certain point I gave that up due to how chance-based the first two battles were, how Bruno could manage to win because I was trying to manage power points, or how Karen's battle would be extremely improbable. In the end, I decided grinding to level 92 and testing level ranges with rare candies would be the best way forward. A consistent will fight is the first thing we want. At level 92, Magikarp ends up dealing quite a lot more damage. Oh, come on now, that Confuse Ray is just mean. Anyway, Zaytu is now a 3-shot, which is quite nice. The Confusion, not so nice. The crit, I'll take it. We're gonna need to use Flail to get through all of Will's team, and incidentally, at the end, Magikarp is going to need to have a certain amount of health. If it's too low, Zaytu's priority will come knockin'. Yeah, quick attack, no good for a low HP Magikarp. By the way, impeccable timing on that flinch. Not sure if we would have made it if Slowbro hit us, or if it had knocked us into an HP range that would have been easy pickings for Zaytu. My brain was on autopilot, and at Koga, I forgot to heal, and I didn't even have Magikarp use Flail. Ouch. Yes, that's right, I robbed her of another first try victory. The next try at Koga would be a win, like, I'm so stupid. Yeah, and here's Will again, and there's Leech Seed. It is an instant death sentence for Magikarp. The moment you see it is the moment you reset. If you're thinking somehow Magikarp could manifest some kind of insane comeback victory after all this, nah, Slowbro is way too bulky. Here's some attempts at level 93. After using one rare candy to bump up Magikarp's damage ranges, It's apparent that even with higher damage output, Executor's Leech Seed, or a special defense drop from Psychic, or being confused, or being stalled out by Slowbro, there are a wide variety of ways to lose and a lack of variety in ways to win. With all of these factors, there's no way this fight's ever consistent at this level. Why hadn't I started saving in between battles by this point? I don't know. Like, something's gotta give. Magikarp has to win again. Not expecting damage increase, but maybe with better bulk? No, it's not like a cope on my part or something. This is clearly really serious stuff, and Magikarp can definitely do it. Time to find out. Yeah, Magikarp took less damage there. Of course she gets confused. It's not the end of the world if Executor misses Leech Seed. Oh, convenient. Extra convenient. Didn't even need a flinch. And Psychic didn't do that much. Oh, never mind. But it's still possible. That's a good sign. Well, does Magikarp knock out Broslow in one hit? No. It's really starting to feel like a bigger problem than it ended up being. In the moment, it was hellish. Timely crit, quite nice. Then Leech Seed. Is it really worth returning to this subject again? No, stop it. Get some help. That's not me telling you guys what to do. It's more like a cell phone. What I meant to say was self-help. That's totally what I said. No need to hold me accountable here. You guys know it hasn't been a run filled with sunshine and roses. Punching the Executor is pretty cool. Until Leech Seed. Another reset. Maybe this battle will be different. It's just been a particularly bad week for Scorpios or something. But what if it isn't mine specifically? Wait, what if this is based on Magikarp's sign? I guess it'd be Taurus. Let's read it. Being open to new ideas will be profitable. Okay, true. Oh hey, Executor goes down. And obviously Jinx is gonna too. But not Bro. I mean, slow, whatever. It just isn't happening. At level 98, a much prettier picture of the battle emerges, with even better bulk and damage. Magikarp doesn't mind taking damage at the start anymore, unless there's a special defense drop, and there isn't going to be one. Even though Magikarp hits herself in confusion here, the damage Say2 deals isn't enough to 3-shot anymore. At this point, Executor, just don't go for Leech Seed, please. Okay, a flinch. That means no Leech Seed. Magikarp should be able to survive a single hit from Slowbro, unless it crits! Of course! Oh, come on. Will the second attempt have anything nice to offer Magikarp? It's driving me crazy. I just want to see what Magikarp can do at Koga. Confusion pains. This poor Magikarp. Okay, there we go, she got wise. I can't even be mad at Say2 though, its design is so sick. But didn't damage Magikarp enough. Uh-oh. Leech Seed again? Really? I know it's coming. You know it's coming. Someone who's never even played Pokemon before would know. Slowbro is still playing wall games. And don't celebrate just yet, just because Slowbro goes down. Because remember, Say2 has Quick Attack. Magikarp has overcome so many hurdles only to be walled at the very first of the Elite Four without extreme amounts of luck. It's so demoralizing. At least, That's what I was going to say until Magikarp pulled off quite the victory. There wasn't any kind of ideal luck at Zaytu. Less health is better than more, and confusion isn't particularly nice, ever. But yeah, 125 health is what Magikarp's working with, against Executor. But a crit tackle? Thank you, man. No special defense drop, and at 77 health, Flail takes Executor down. Then Jinx, she's pretty frail. Kinda wish Magikarp was more damaged for Slowbro. Oh, Amnesia, sure. Would be really cool if there wasn't an attack. Curse! Hey, a free KO, unless Will heals. You might be wondering, why tackle? Insurance for Will actually using healing items and getting into a better flow range. Finally, a solid win. After healing up, I equipped Magikarp with the Pink Bow instead of sticking with the King's Rock for this single fight. Ideally, with the extra normal type damage, Magikarp can two-shot both the Gyarados and the Venomoth, avoiding taking too much damage or getting poisoned by Toxic. At least, that's what I thought. And then, as you're about to find out, just like I did, Gyarados is a 3-shot. And guess what? Venomoth is also a 3-shot. Not to say that Venomoth won't try to be as obnoxious as Pokemonly possible. Once we get to Fortress though, I realize that Magikarp isn't really doing enough damage to adequately exhaust power points in anticipation of Karen. To explain, and this should help make sense of some of my questionable decisions to go for Tackle, Karen will eventually send out Gengar. And if Magikarp has any power points left, Gengar gets the chance to curse or paralyze her. It's really, really important, therefore, to use up a lot of tackles on Fortress. Eventually— oh god, explosion! Oh nice, actually that was exactly what I wanted. The perfect flail range for Magikarp to take out both Muck and Crobat in a single hit each. Magikarp gets what should count as a first try victory, yet again, against Koga. Please don't count the earlier loss, that was my bad. Feel for her just a little bit, okay? She's only gotten 2 other first tries so far. Please. Bruno, the King's Rock's flinches, combined with the lower power of tackles and flails, should keep Magikarp alive, while also negating all Flail's power points and most of tackles. While Bruno would certainly be an easy victory without the need to lose power points, this fight would be a joke, even with Magikarp. Unfortunately, every time Bruno is fought, the power point situation radically changes the dynamics of the entire fight. You need to have low enough HP to 3-shot the final Onix with Flail, and you need 1 Flail at least and low HP to knock out Machamp. Like, if the Elite Four weren't already hard enough for this poor fish, even Bruno is a piece of a larger puzzle. Oh my gosh, of course a crit. That means Onix is going to take Magikarp down. Yeah, Magikarp's not getting past Bruno this time. Here's Onix and there's Earthquake. We have to go all the way back. And now it's quite evident how awful PowerPoint management is going to be. Oh my goodness. Well, as much as I'd like to show more attempts at Will, we're more than an hour into the video. Magikarp still hasn't faced Karen and Lance, and even Koga could be a toss-up. Well, in this attempt against Koga, Gyarados goes down quite easily. Against Venomoth, yeah, Magikarp misses Tackle, but Venomoth misses Supersonic. Just keep going for Psychic, please, not Toxic. These Psychics are really weak. Against Fortress this time, I realize Magikarp has too many power points in Flail, so I mixed some in to splash them out of existence. It's really boring, I know, I don't look back on this fondly. Or maybe I do? Am I mad? This gigantic steel walnut worm keeps spitting out stars to try and slice and dice this fish for dinner. But they're kind of blunt. As you can see, after an explosion once again that puts Femcarp into a good HP range. Not to say it doesn't scare me every time I see the health bar dip so low. Muck and Crowbot go down one after another effortlessly. Let's cut that short though, it's back to Bruno, and time to play the PowerPoint Lotto once again. Oh wait, how many tackle PowerPoints are left? Uh-oh. Oh, and I didn't manage Flail correctly either. There's this fatalistic side of me that's screaming. You might as well push on and try, just to see what's going on when Femcarp gets to Karen. Come on, hit me. I mean, paralyze Magikarp and force me to reset? Or don't? Maybe I forgot what battling and resetting even were during this haze of rote gameplay. Hear that in your headspace, Mira? That's the sound of inevitable losses. Okay, yeah, this is not about winning. It was the brilliant master plan all along to test struggle ranges on Machamp. Just trust me, bro. Why are you missing? Please stop. Please end this so I can start over. Bruno's such a pushover that I can't even force myself to lose until Onyx. What in the world, Game Freak? Okay, I'm getting heated. After many more losses to Will and a toxic loss from Koga, I decided to bump Magikarp up to level 100 and start saving between battles. At this point, and it's really my fault, I have no clue if Karen's even doable at any level. My stubbornness to make sure Magikarp had struggle after the first Umbreon could not be denied. I already knew Gengar was lurking in the background, and any additional turns it could score before we could hit it would more than likely mean paralysis or curse. In the interest of making battles consistent from this point on, I had to indulge in the level up spree. It hurt, it really did. I wanted to believe in the sub 100 0 DP carp magic. At least Koga's easy most of the time. Even at 22 health, Flail knocks out both Muck and Crobat in one hit still. Koga seems like the most consistent member of the E4, which would have been really nice earlier when saving was not a thing. All of that aside, here's another Bruno loss. Looks like we won't have enough flails or tackles afterward anyway. I don't know, something positive? At least the King's Rock's still putting in work? Guys, I don't know. Like, there has to be something positive that comes of this. Like, it surely just can't end at the Elite Four, right? Like, the next hour of the footage isn't just gonna be me losing over and over until I give up, right? Right? No, don't worry, don't worry. Hell will freeze over before I give up on this. Gosh, I got distracted. So, Karen, right. Flail left over. And now this attempt is going to be futile. Oh gosh. Well, let's test the damage range on Flail, I guess. For fun. Yeah, tackle into struggle, all Magikarp has. After spending ages getting back to Karen with a near perfect amount of power points, and keeping the pink bow equipped to try to get better ranges on Umbreon, the fight starts off really good. Magikarp only hits herself in confusion one time without Umbreon landing any sand attacks. Definitely note the amount of turns it took to take down Umbreon. That'll be an important factor to consider later. Thanks to paralysis from Vileplume, which looks to be a 3-shot, this is definitely the end. A curse from Gengar seals the deal. Too bad we didn't get to see the damage ranges on it, because we need a 2-shot. Before the second attempt, having seen the damage ranges on Tackle, and knowing the pink bow will be useless once Magikarp pivots to struggle, I replaced it with a Paralyzed Cure Berry, even though that too will not play a continuous role throughout the rest of the battle. A critical hit from Umbreon is really obnoxious. Magikarp needs all the health she can to make it through. And Confuse Ray, lovely! There's another crit and a miss. It's over. After several similarly botched attempts, With decent luck on the Umbreon for quite a while, I decided instead of fishing for better tackle ranges, the only right play would be to ditch the Paralyzed Cure Berry strategy, later of course, and fish for flinches, echoing the earlier rival fights almost 1-to-1. How fitting, by the way, that King's Rock has brought this regal carp to the court of the Elite Four, seeking the Hall of Fame crown, making the impossible possible. However, in the back of my mind, I was thinking that this 0 DV Magikarp may be facing an impenetrable wall due to, firstly, lacking the damage range to take out Umbreon even with the Pink Bow in 5 hits, and the inability to two-shot the Vileplume. Those are not good signs. Taking that many turns to beat the first 3 Pokemon, with the chance that Magikarp gets status or accuracy drop turn after turn after turn, optimizing damage ranges will be the only legitimate way to pass Karen. I'm dreading the possibility of needing to edit any of her DVs. It would feel so slimy. It's the last resort option, and I have no intention of pressing the emergency button anytime soon. Oh, random observation. Taking 17 to 18 damage per hit from Umbreon is not good. That might not seem like a lot, but once Tackle runs out, Magikarp starts taking recoil from the struggle. Magikarp needs a lot of health to make it all the way through Houndoom, and a lot of luck too. In this run with the Paralysis Cure Berry equipped, Magikarp ends up passing an annoying Umbreon. Sand Attack and Confuse Ray to start? That's not a combo anyone wants to order. Cut it from the menu without prejudice, Game Freak, please. Another confusion, but Carpy's in her right mind, like me. Never mind. These deficient ranges are so brutal. Maybe Vileplume will miss the first Stun Spore and try for another? That one's negated, sweet. Does the second one miss? Perfect. But a two-shot here would be so much sweeter. Let's see what the damage range is on Gengar. Or not? Seriously? Not even a preview? Not a crumb of an example of how much damage Magikarp deals? What a sour affair. Oh my gosh, that's all I wanted. And it's super hard to even get to this part of the battle. Yeah, Paralyzed Cure Berry's out of the Karen equation for good. Equipping the King's Rock would prove to be a great decision, and all attempts after this point would have Magikarp holding it. You can see that I kind of paused here, feeling hesitant to give these new attempts a fair shot. I wanted to stave off the inevitable for as long as possible, persisting in the delusion that this Fimcarp would be the one to conquer this summit. Oh, by the way, I started resetting after seeing Sand Attack on the first turn. It's too much. As you're about to see, the flinching strategy does prove to be an incredible utility against Umbreon, negating a turn where it could have trolled Magikarp deeply. One less chance at lower accuracy, one less chance at being confused, one less chance at taking extra damage. Confusion does kinda negate the benefits though. Against Vileplume, is the lack of Paralyzed Cure Berry going to matter? Nope. At least for that turn. And another! So what's the damage range on this Gengar? I just had... Magikarp doesn't two-shot Gengar? Can't even bring myself to care about the two-shot on Merca right now, or the fact that Houndoom is also a two-shot. I paused here, ruminating on the fact that we would, in theory, need to pass through 5 turns without Sand Attack or Confusion and no crits, 2 turns on the Vileplume with no Paralysis or Petal Dance, and 2 flinches on the Gengar to avoid Lick and Curse. Reality finally set in. After a deluge of attempts, it was evident that the pace at which Magikarp gets through the battle is too slow. Hitting a challenge save feels extremely wrong to me, but this is the only way to move forward. I could have been more diligent and reset for a better carp at the start of the run. As I've been saying this whole time, it's yet again my fault. We all want to know if Magikarp can, with any stats, beat the entire game. As a personal bias, I wanted Magikarp to stay female, to though I put 7 attack DVs in instead of 15. The last Magikarp had 88 attack, and this one has 102 attack. Even though everything else is identical, this boost in power means better ranges. And oh boy, are they going to make a difference. Now Zaytu is a potential 2-shot, though getting confused still bites. That amount of damage though makes me so happy and hopeful, which is great, given how heart-wrenching it was to impart the OG Femcarp's essence to a personal computer. Yeah, I actually boxed her. She still exists, everybody, this is just her clone. Don't question the ethics. Leia looks more powerful too. Jinx, not a one-shot here, but close. Slowbro becomes much more manageable thanks to the higher amount of HP Magikarp maintains by dealing more damage. Always love seeing those wasted amnesia turns. Isn't this newfound consistency with Will something to celebrate? Oh, ouch. Is 14 HP gonna be enough to survive a quick attack? Please don't lose this first attempt. Oh. Huh. Good stuff. Since the last Femcarp had consistency with both Koga, who no longer requires the pink bow for ranges, and Bruno, except for PowerPoint management, it's time to go straight back to Karen. First attempt? Quite promising. Umbreon goes from a 6-shot to a 5-shot, eliminating a precious turn with which Umbreon could blind Magikarp's eyes, or make her feel like relearning Splash after seeing stars. Gengar is now a 2-shot. Perfect. Murkrow's heck yes, a crit! But it's not enough for Houndoom. But hey, the 7-attack DV Femcarp, reviving so much hope. Well, after several more attempts, and I'll show a few right here, I was losing the will to fight. As much as it felt like the fight was winnable, it also felt like it came down purely to chance. Unfortunately, since it isn't something I'm capable of calculating, at the moment, I had no idea whether or not this was going to come down to some incomprehensible probability. I spared you all so many runs. So many runs. I tried to leave, but I couldn't. That's not what fate has in store for us. At this point, I've put on some music and pressed A while staring blankly at the screen, hoping and praying this torture might produce tangible results. Jumping into the abyss isn't an option either. Why do they let kids in this place? I had to scrap the rest of that joke because look at this. Plunge number 1, plunge number 2, plunge number 3, plunge number 4. 4 plunges in a row. It's like a 2% chance of occurring. Sorry, going a bit fast. It's on 8 times. No, you got to be joking. That hurts on a really deep level. Out of all further losses, none would prove to be as lucky as this one, and none would produce results. In the back of my mind loomed the thought that the 15 DV male carp might have to replace Femcarp after all. Over and over and over again. Loss after loss after loss. Being critically hit after landing a couple of flinches to negate damage. Missing tackles and being paralyzed and returned by stun spore. Being hit with a single sand attack that causes Magikarp to miss Gengar, which then curses her. Losing too much health from recoil, the Houndoom manages to crunch on Magikarp like a tasty treat. Making it to Gengar and seeing it use Slick, only to see that curse paralysis pop up. Not getting the flinch on Gengar without paralysis but getting cursed. Being cursed ever. Seeing Vile Plume pedal dance on the first turn out without being flinched. Mighty waterfalls. Salt falls of salt are pouring out from my mouth. Back to the play-by-play. Listen, I'll just warn you right now, don't get your hopes up. Flinch is good. Critical hit flinch, not bad. Don't get excited though. A stun spore miss. Pedal dance kinda sucks. fight? Oh my goodness. That's like the best thing that could happen. Struggle has no power points. Oh my gosh, no crit? Is this... Wait. Houndoom flinched. Houndoom flinched! Oh my god! Oh my god. I wasn't even expecting it at all. And it was a crit. Paused and jumped for joy. I can't even begin to describe how long it took to be Karen for the first time. From the footage at least, this section was 1 hour and 41 minutes of real time, and that was at 8 times speed. I don't even know anymore. Not knowing is half the battle? That doesn't make sense, whatever. Due to the euphoria of winning that battle finally, I became completely unaware of something I had drawn up before even starting all of this. Plan for Lance, relying on low enough HP to flail down every one of his Pokemon in one hit. Magikarp outspeeds all of them. Now, it isn't the end of the world. The plan was to end up in Karen's fight like Magikarp did in Koga's, at 10 health or below. But we can use all of those healing items we bought earlier to try our patented Femcarp take some hits at the start flail down technique. Yes, the patent is communal, unlike the last one. Feel free to steal that in your own Magikarp run. But try it out yourself for me, right? No, kid, don't do it. Please. This will break you into 1,000 pieces and scatter you to the wind. Finally, Magikarp's no longer chained to struggle. As long as we beat Lance anyway. Because the only trainers remaining who need it are... X Note, Fuck, and Blade. At 25 HP, while Magikarp's able to take down the first 3 Pokemon easily, kablam! Kablam! That's where it ends. We're not gonna have enough power to get through the highest level Dragonite on Lance's team. Had we not brought all of these healing items earlier, we would have possibly had to fight Karen again. And if you think I'm game for that, well, no. Never again. Until the Sunkern video. Heading the 7th circle of hell will be filled with sunflower seeds. Magikarp needs to lose an ideal amount of HP against Gyarados, or it's game over. At 35 HP, Gyarados won't deal enough damage with Surf to take Magikarp's HP low enough. And the same thing plays out as last time. Hyper Beam is gonna make planning this out kinda tough. The alternative at 45 health points is that Gyarados simply uses Hyper Beam after Surf. It's like that last one, taking Magikarp out and crushing her dreams. At 55 health points, Hyper Beam takes away exactly 30 HP, meaning we simply get knocked out on the next turn. This is a bit tricky, yeah? Immediately after, I decided to try full HP instead. As you can see, Magikarp has way too much health to avoid dealing with the other Pokemon, which is crucial. A paralysis here ends the battle. Wait, didn't I just say that Hyper Beam takes 30 of Magikarp's HP? Wait a second. If we retry it with 35? Oh my goodness, I think that means Magikarp won, as long as this is Hyper Beam. Oh my gosh, Hyper Beam, 5 HP. It's 150 base power, but I think it's enough. 1 Dragonite down. Already know the second will. It's down to this one. Yes, that's it I think. As long as Aerodactyl's a one-shot too. This is it, Miss Magikarp, it's your time to shine. Pinning all of our hopes on this? Yes! Yes, she actually did it! What? That's it! Magikarp, she did it! She really did it! With no healing items or X items in battle, and with 7 attack DVs instead of 15. And no perfect DVs either. Oh my gosh, I'm not sure what to say. 59 hours and 34 minutes. Even if Magikarp doesn't end up being red, I think this is quite the achievement on its own. Hopefully this is as humorous and fulfilling for you guys as it is for me. As my favorite comedian would say, something goes from funny to hilarious when someone gets hurt. And I'm hurting. Sorry, a bit dark. In all honesty, beating the Elite Four made all of this truly worthwhile. Incredibly fulfilling, even if my soul has permanently left my body. I hope you guys come out of this feeling the same way. With all of that said, let's skip right over to Vermilion City, facing off against Surge. Honestly, I could have done this part of the run much faster, and by that I mean all of Kanto, but I forgot to stop healing Magikarp after the battles to keep a flail range that could, except for Brock, Blaine, and Blue, sweep through every single one of Kanto's gems. As you can see, even though it ended up being slower, each gem leader went down really easily. It's almost like rerunning the Elite Four hundreds of times is driving on the interstate, and anything after it feels like pulling off at an exit. Going 35 no longer feels like that when you've been going 70 for a few hours. It's honestly kind of crazy how Magikarp can get hit with Zap Cannon and still pull out a first try victory against Surge. Electabuzz can't even knock out Magikarp with Thunder, and Electro does nothing. What happened to the American military? Is there not an American military in the Pokemon universe? And Surge is some kind of live-action role player that everyone puts up with because he brings in league-challenging tourists? Incomprehensible to me. By the by, the reason I'm showing this routing footage is to show that I grabbed the focus band. Along with some other items like leftovers, this held item will be involved in a crucial strategy going forward. Well, is it honest to call luck a strategy? Sabrina did manage to knock Magikarp out on the first couple attempts. Again, because I kept healing. Remember guys, it's like literally always my fault with these second try victories. Our newly christened Dragoncarp would fulfill Sabrina's prophecy. Mr. Mime ends up doing absolutely nothing, and at 86 HP, it's smooth sailing on the flail boat against Alakazam. Before taking on Erica, it's also crucial to grab leftovers. Going to need them when fighting Brock and Blaine. When using Struggle throughout the entirety of a fight, leftovers sustains Magikarp as long as it doesn't take too much damage from the opponent. For some reason, I always thought you'd get leftovers in the boat, not here, and I never ended up grabbing them as a kid. The more you know. Like the first two gems, Erica's posed a real problem. The trainers were no pushovers, and neither was she. Though, again, that was entirely my fault for healing all the way up. Okay, I rescind part of that, this one was a joke. Maybe the twins are there to job hard enough to trick you into thinking Magikarp would have a clean sweep. That's a face I never wanted to see again. Wild Plume paralysis has me remembering things I really don't want to think about. Honestly, scarier than Erica. You're probably thinking, actually, no you're not, it was like a 5-second clip earlier. Throw back to the trainer outside National Park. Flashbacks to the Venonat. Almost makes me forget about the Elite Four wins. Ticket Train's so trolly. Okay, 31 HP is not so bad. Down goes Tangela. Okay, jump up. Not a chance. Victory Bell? Nah. Okay. Blossom? One shot? No. Oh. Solar Beam. Okay then. Erica must have been sleeping. Quite fitting that Magikarp, even if it was a mistake, took all those hits to hit that sweet spot in the flail range. Represents Magikarp's hardiness, no? That's my cope at least. Totally not shoddy gameplay. At least I finally remembered it here. With Magikarp's low HP preserved, by the way, Janine is, as with almost all other Kanto gym leaders, a total joke. Game Freak was super lazy with this one. I cut out the machine part side quest except for the best part, interrupting Misty's date. How scandalous. Misty's fight is similarly a scandal. It's almost like beating the Elite Four turned Magikarp's flail into a true nuke or something. Well, I wish. Let's enjoy this for now, because where we're headed, there will be no joy, only never-ending torment and the cold, calculating hands of chance. It feels so good to trounce all these gym leaders after spending so much time grinding and resetting throughout the entire game, but we have to temper our expectations just a bit. I went and grabbed a very bizarre item found only in Gen 2, the Berserk Gene. It's a little piece of Mewtwo left over from being caught by somebody else. Tough luck, kiddo. Usually it wouldn't be notable. Might end up being the item that Magikarp uses to complete the game. Rock is next, and it's the struggle leftover strat. Well, it's quite simple. Negate the recoil, negate any challenge that opposing Pokemon might pose to the bulky fish. As you can see, Brock's Pokemon do like nothing to stop Magikarp. Kabutops has really low special attack and can't pull off a meaningful Giga Drain. Takes a little bit, but not too long. The rest of the team is a complete joke. Omastar is a 3-shot and can't even dent Magikarp. She's the real star of the show, you know? Okay, that one was a stretch and was lame. Oh, just an Onix. Actually, Onix with Bite is kind of maybe bad if we deal too much damage before it unleashes. Oh, well, it didn't even get to use it. Giving Brock a bit too much credit, aren't I? Pretty disappointing stuff in Kanto. I'm definitely not gonna regret saying that later. And here's your taste of later. Since we already have struggle leftovers prepared, I was curious about giving Blue a try before Blaine. Time to either pull off a miracle or be shot down in cruel fashion. Can Magikarp take down this Kanto bully? Your move struggle? Huh, I didn't know you could mimic that one. You learn something new every day. Sorry, I kind of sound choked up there, and I have great reason, because this is what I'm worried about right here. Executor Solar Beam. I don't know, maybe Magikarp can survive it? No, not feeling the Johto magic right now. That's terrible. Thankfully, playing with struggle leftovers is so trivial, I have nothing to say about it. I guess you could lose to Magcargo without this strategy? Oh, I had nothing to say about it, kinda contradicting myself there. Time to talk about Blue instead. Kanto until Blue is a bad joke. But Blue stands out from the other gym leaders with a competently designed team of 6 higher-leveled Pokemon, reaching level 58 in some cases. The struggle strat was already shown to be pointless. Instead, we now have 3 to try out. King's Rock with Flail, the Berserk Gene with Flail, and the Focus Band Prayer Proc strategy. Before we get into it, I want to remind you of one important detail. The damage ranges we get with Flail are absolute. No crits with Flail until Generation 3. Anyway, let the nightmare begin. And if you don't believe me, here at full HP, Fidget barely damages Magikarp when starting with full health. Thanks to that, definitely not going to be able to get past the Executor's Solar Beam yet again. It would need too many flinches to matter. Case in point, watch as Magikarp, once again, takes a blast of the heat of the sungrass to her beautiful face. Starting to notice something? Magikarp gets walled by Executor with too much HP. What in the world are we supposed to expect after that? You've got Rhydon that resists everything but struggle and has high defense. Arcanine knows extreme speed. While this is going on, I'm trying and failing to crunch probabilities in my head, but I'm starting to catch on to a bleak realization. Not time for that yet, though. You have barely scratched the surface. I totally spend a lot of time trying to have Magikarp's health points dropped here, but there's a better strategy. Using the trainers above Viridian to either get poisoned or get hit with really weak Fury attacks. If you have enough Pokeballs to throw at the opposing Pokemon, you can take advantage of free turns to have the Beedrill poison Magikarp with Twin Needle. It's the perfect way to get any amount of health you want by dragging Magikarp around and watching it writhe in agony. Not exactly the prettiest picture, is it? But hey, it gets the job done. Back to fight dynamics. If you recall from earlier in the run, priority moves were the bane of Magikarp's existence whenever it caused Flail at low HP strats to fail. Blue's Pidgeot knows Quick Attack and his Arcanine knows Extreme Speed. Great. NHP will not work. On the next attempt, at 20, you don't even one-shot Pidgeot and a Wing Attack will faint Femcarp every time. Oof. Remember, Magikarp can't level up any further, and by this point, her stat experience has long been maxed out. At 60 HP with the Pink Bow equipped, Magikarp does manage to hit the ranges to make it through Pidgeot, two-shot the Exeggutor, and one-shot the Alakazam. That's right, we finally saw Alakazam. That's gonna be some S+ consistency from Magikarp. Not to kill the vibe, but the Hyper Beam from Gyarados, a crit 2, and Magikarp's out. Flinches are still gonna be the key to victory, even if the ranges are poor. On the very next attempt, actually, we see what King's Rock lacks in more damage. The propensity for Magikarp to obtain flinches is still the key to success. Blue using a full restore on Exeggutor is super cool, actually. Kinda wish Blue would have used both of them. We already know Alakazam's a one-shot, and thank goodness for it. Getting the flinch on Gyarados is huge, and we've seen a number already. Hey, that's the last full restore! Unfortunately, as you're about to see with Rhydon, it's a 4 or a 5 shot. That means 3 or 4 turns for Rhydon to take Femcarp back to the Stone Age, and 3 or 4 flinches in a row to get past Rhydon. Here's where I pause to speak the unfortunate truth. Magikarp would need a flinch on Gyarados, 3 or 4 flinches on Rhydon, and that doesn't even account for full restores if he does use them in the worst places. Did I mention it doesn't even matter because Arcanine will come out last anyway and one-shot Magikarp with extreme speed? King's Rock has fallen out of vogue. The Berserk gene is where it's at. When the Berserk gene's equipped, when entering battle, the gene is consumed and the Pokemon's attack stat is raised by 2 stages. Almost like the badge boost of old, but with one major drawback. Once it's consumed, Magikarp will be stuck in a permanent state of confusion. That's right, even though we'll have much better ranges to work with, we're going to need to avoid the 50-50 coin flip every turn Magikarp attacks, that Magikarp knocks herself out. On all these attempts, she keeps slapping her own Mewtwo-imbibed fin against her face. Even though Magikarp hits herself in confusion here, she lost a good enough amount of health to potentially seal the deal on this one, ending up with 40. Never mind. Can't do this at 5. Not possible with Arcanine in the back. And have a look at the cruelty of chance. Can't even hit the Alakazam. This attempt? Who knows? It's just chance. For Magikarp, Blue has to be the most chance-based battle in the game. Well, what's about to happen here? Wing attack, hopefully? Oh, mirror move flail. Great. Seems like Magikarp has either too much or too little HP. And this attempt doesn't go much better either. In fact, it goes exactly the same way. What are the chances? Not doing that again. We get a confusion hit and a mirror move flail again, please. To remedy that, let's visit a bug catcher. Make sure to take the Berserk gene off of Magikarp though. Only get one and it never comes back. Take a Nightshade and you're golden, hopefully. Take it out and after healing 20 more health, at 46, maybe something magical will happen. Some kind of electromagnetic vibration that clicks the RNG in Magikarp's favor. Cosmic rays, space dust? Never mind. Magikarp slamming herself in the face with her own body again seems to be tripping us up even more than the other strategies. Again and again, as you can see, chance continues to be chance. Pressing A continues to be pressing A. I know this is getting repetitive, but I really want to drive the point home that this fight, for Magikarp, comes down to pure chance alone. There's no variation of the strategy that doesn't require absurd, bold, calculating chance instead of a massive web of potential moves the opponent might use, how much damage Magikarp might take, lack of priority on the opposing side, multiple moves the opponent could choose from. In Magikarp's toughest battles, against Jasmine and Karen, their Pokemon would miss sometimes, or they'd go for different moves. After 30 more attempts, Magikarp finally makes it past Gyarados, and that happened. Magikarp would eat the gene so much that I thought, eventually, Magikarp would just become Mewtwo and annihilate the whole building. Well, no, it's over. Magikarp doesn't one-shot Rhydon. Oh no. Even the lingering essence of Mewtwo isn't enough to push the cart past Blue. While I did pick up the Focus Band in Saffron, and in theory, Magikarp could get the luck she needs for it to activate a few times, it would have to activate 6 different times at minimum for Magikarp to get through the fight. 2 to absorb priority, and 4 to take down Rhydon. Remember, with 2 full restores, we will almost certainly negate 2 activations with no consequences, so we may need 8. That lowers the chance of successful runs in any variation of the strategy. It was mortifying, and you already know what's coming after that. What's on the horizon for female Magikarp. Knowing this is going to be impossible, but maintaining a hard heart, I kept throwing Magikarp at the wall, hoping she'd bounce back to me with Blue's badge in hand. Mentally, I know it's not going to work, but emotionally, I refuse to give up. Don't worry, my stubbornness is legendary, and I kept on trying. For the sake of demonstration, I have a few natural attempts featuring Focus Band. It's not good, it's brutal. At least Pidgeot is kind enough to shoot down most of my dreams fairly quickly. Getting past Executor is always guaranteed, and so are Alakazam and Gyarados at this HP, but yeah. Arcanine will be the second Focus Band activation Magikarp needs, and it just doesn't get it, and it probably never will. I cannot even begin to describe to you how many attempts this went on. Even though I knew it was a futile endeavor with cosmically incomprehensible technobabble numbers, the thought of landing that impossible victory against all odds was too tasty to pass up. After all this hardship and heartbreak and torture, naturally you crave a thrilling, satisfying conclusion to the story. Unfortunately for Magikarp, the only way forward is sickeningly numerical. The passage of time and pressing A. Nothing more, nothing less. Oh, and I do know about Bright Powder, but consider it can only be legitimately obtained by trading a legendary Pokemon from Gen 1, and it has a slightly lower activation rate than King's Rock. Makes an astronomical difference when calculated to the 6th power. I think I failed my statistics course. I play Pokemon and I transcribe data. I'm not in charge of anything important. No, there's no shot I'm going to learn math just to be able to say this battle has like a small shot of happening in the billions. I wouldn't have googled the equation for figuring that up or anything. Did it come out right? Please school me on this and utterly torch my ignorance. No, really, don't let me get away with this one. It's pure laziness and intellectual dishonesty. Unwillingness to expand horizons and become a robot. Speaking of robots, aren't people making some kind of newfangled online customer service rep that can do all that for you? No, you don't need me to do it, I promise. Instead of showing any more failed attempts, okay, after this one, I'll leave you with the most elegant stretch our glorious Femcarp made toward victory. Unfortunately, it's the last. Magikarp takes down Pidgeot after the activation, as we've seen before. Pretty bland, isn't it? I know, but it's almost over. Executor goes down in 2 hits as usual. And as you know, Alakazam's gonna go down easily. They're both gimmies. Gyarados too, another gimme. But now the real battle begins. Arcanine's extreme speed actually activated Focus Band this time. Maybe if Rhydon's a 2-shot, there's actually a path forward and we can look for— No, it isn't. Rhydon puts down any remaining hope. This fight isn't winnable. It's not humanly winnable! This is where Femcarp's incredible ascent against all odds comes to a close. Could I retry the fight thousands of times instead of hundreds? Oh, first, cue the grayscale. I definitely could keep retrying it until the day I die, but it's not about the odds or even saving my time, as I hope you can see. The spirit of the challenge is to judge every Pokemon on the merits of their own ability and movesets. And if it's a failure due to some deficiency in me, more on that later, I would hate that to reflect poorly on the Pokemon itself. If we allowed every Pokemon to use strategies with any held item requiring an unreasonable amount of chance to get past difficult trainers like Blue, the achievement of faster times and the ability to complete the game at all both become trivial. While I would certainly like to show footage of Femcarp attempting Red, I'm not editing the save to do it. And ultimately, it would pose the exact same challenge to Magikarp as Blue. Her story is over. But his story is beginning. Get that grayscale off the screen. Yeah, I bet you were asking, what about the 15 DV male Magikarp? Originally, I did not bother testing it. I had a preconceived notion in my head that Blue would use both full restores on the final Pokemon, and even if that was only 4 activations needed total, that would add 2 more. Anything beyond 5, improbable for humans to manage. But, you notice the video keeps going? At first, continuing to drive myself crazy with all of these attempts, it might actually have come true that it ended up being 1,000. I look toward the future instead of looking back on the bleak past. Stay positive, guys. Yeah, that's the first activation. This is gonna be blazing fast playback speed, by the way. These attempts were on a series of shots in the dark. Who knows what's going to come of this? Oh, we got past Arcanine? Please, please, please. The range on Rhydon. 3-shot. Aw, never mind. I was starting to look to feature event-only runs at this point for the potential Magikarp victory. 3 different movesets I intend to return to later. But out of sheer stubbornness, I couldn't, in good faith, let this be the end of vanilla Magikarp's ascension. Since the videos run for 2 hours at this point, I'd like to quickly show a bunch of attempts where, well, Magikarp lost. Over and over and over. Said that a lot, right? Well, we're gonna blaze through all these at 12 times speed, take my word for it. Believe me when I say I repeated this fight hundreds of times. Yeah, 1,000 figure definitely came true. But if we only need 4 activations, which we can test out, that's a 0.02% chance for victory, or 1 out of 5,000. Certainly a lot less unlikely now, isn't it? Those odds for me are perfectly acceptable. I used to be an MMO junkie. Unfortunately, if we need 6, that's 3 out of a million, and I'm not putting up with that. Despite this, let's see if Magikarp can manage it. Could this be the run to carry Magikarp to Mount Silver? Yeah, it's all chance, but hey, Magikarp's getting back to Rhydon. Can't say for sure that nothing will go our way. Let's not get our hopes too high. And Magikarp survives the earthquake, oh my gosh. Okay, does Blue then heal Rhydon? Why was I giving up again? Okay, let's have a montage of how close Magikarp ends up getting to victory after Pidgeot, because my goodness, the number of runs that fail to start is mind-boggling. Just skip it. This editing's so bad, sorry guys. Believe me, you're not missing much, nothing new under the Cantonian sun. No full restore again. That being consistent is great. What? I was just trying to get failure footage to end the video. Going at high speed for the sake of getting ending footage to close the video out. I just wanted to show you guys it wouldn't work out. Like, you have no idea how long I've been here now at my desk, drooling in front of this monitor, absent of thought, and yeah. I don't even know what to say. How did you lose? And it feels wrong almost. After sticking to my guns with Femcarp up until Blue, I was, on a personal level, completely done with this run. But apparently, this run was not done with me. True master of Magikarp would be certain that hitting A enough times gets Magikarp through any challenge. Sorry, I just don't even know what to say. Oh my gosh, like, I turned the high speed off. Yeah, no, I'm not tough. Magikarp's tough, and yes, it brought tears to my eyes too. Were they happy tears? Were they sad? Were they neutral? Nobody knows. To think that I had made a terrible assumption about the chances of winning this fight after everything we'd already been through? Yeah, I deserve to have to rewrite the entire script. Somehow, we're on the road to Red. If Magikarp can knock out the Snorlax in 2 hits, and Red heals none of his Pokémon, we'll actually need the same number of activations as Blue. We've got Pikachu's Quick Attack, an attack from Snorlax, Charizard, and Blastoise. Venusaur goes for Solar Beam, and Espeon will not outspeed. I did give the first battle a try with Focus Band strats, and honestly, it's not so bad. But as you've seen, since we don't one-shot the Venusaur, we're definitely not one-shotting anything but Espeon. Snorlax, is it a 2-shot? Spoilers, it is. But needing 3 more activations will put us in the same odds category as Blue. Yuck. My thinking going forward was that, honestly, because only Red's Pikachu has a priority move, as long as Pikachu puts Magikarp in the 1 to 3 HP range with a quick attack and does not go for Thunder, Magikarp needs only 3 King's Rock activations total. Much better odds than the Focus Band. At 21 health, Pikachu didn't bite with quick attack and the attempt is over. See, at this amount of health, Espeon is no longer a one-shot. And you know what's much, much worse? Snorlax is a 3-shot. Yeah, gonna have to fiddle with this quite a bit, but I think it'll work. Time to retry the fight at 11 health. Yeah, I already know. Without a doubt, Magikarp faints. It's just a repeat of all the priority moves we've seen before, just reliving the same traumas of the past. Imagine how Red must be feeling, like this guy comes up to challenge him, like the first challenger in years, and you just have a Magikarp, and his Pikachu one-shots it instantly. Like, dot much? Okay, what about 31? Probably too much. Thunder. Okay. At 14 health, Magikarp can be knocked out by Quick Attack, as you can see here, but it can also survive on 1 to 2 health. Don't believe me? See for yourself. After Magikarp gets past Pikachu, we only need 3 more flinches: Snorlax, Blastoise, and Charizard. The chances of that happening, other than the favorable range on the first turn, not terrible. I'm gonna leave 4 times speed on. Unlike Blue, this won't require hours upon hours upon hours of battling or multiple sessions of filming. Magikarp has this now. At least, that's what I was thinking, until I realized the chance of surviving the first quick attack doesn't seem that high. Are these Blue odds? No, but they're kinda murky and potentially quite low. It's really good that we don't have to deal with something like Rhydon here. The Snorlax 2-shot coming up is huge. It's really huge. Well, it would be if Magikarp managed to flinch the Snorlax. And take a guess. Okay, so what's after Snorlax crushing our hopes and dreams? Another loss to Pikachu. It feels so arbitrary. Definitely gets me down. Okay, maybe this one will go better, you know? Like, things have not... The critical hit's just bullying. Okay, honesty time. Part of why this took so long and part of why I ended up making a fool of myself here. I stubbornly persisted in the King's Rock strategy. I attempted this fight nearly as much as Karen at various speeds. Remember, in one of the fights, Magikarp flinched Umbreon 4 times in a row. We know the odds aren't impossible, and Magikarp did make it to Charizard 3 times out of hundreds. But becoming so fixated on that was criminal. It made me forget the most cinematic item that Magikarp could hold to cap off a draconic ascension to the top of Mount Silver. The Berserk Gene. For Blue, the Berserk Gene didn't work because Rhydon tanks and resists Magikarp's moves. With Red though, knowing that Pikachu can put Magikarp in the 200 flail range to start the fight, we essentially have a battle consisting of 6 coin flips. So long as Magikarp manages to one-shot all of Red's Pokémon, this victory has a 1% chance of happening. 1 out of 100. Way bigger margin of victory than what transpired at Blue. In the second attempt, we managed to get past the Pikachu, but don't get to see whether or not Venusaur is a one-shot. Same thing for the very next attempt. Like, no, I'm kidding. Did you warn me about the quick attacks, bro? Does it keep happening? Thanks for killing the joke, Confusion. While we're waiting to see further developments in this battle... Oh, come on, don't hit yourself in Confusion. Really, just stop it. Gosh, I gotta stop apologizing so much. What am I doing? While we're waiting to see more... Oh my gosh, a critical hit? Seriously? Sorry. While we're waiting to see the range on Venusaur, if we do happen to win with the Berserk Gene equipped, wouldn't it be just comeuppance to Red for stealing away my chance at exploring Cerulean Cave and obtaining Mewtwo for myself? I mean, Gold is the strongest trainer, right? 16 gem badges? Beat the original protagonist? Trounced Kanto? Okay, this is just some kind of delusional Gen 2er rambling at this point. Let's just move on to see if Venusaur can be defeated. I mean, of course it could, if Magikarp would stop being a self-slapping dum-dum. Or just outright losing to Quick Attack right at the start. There's gonna be a lot of that, I can assure you. Here, of course, not the case. Really good stuff. Do we actually get to attack the Venusaur this time? No. Okay, how about this one? Wonder how that Berserk Gene tastes. It can't be pleasant. Is this the attempt that Magikarp will finally find some daylight? Spoilers! No, I won't spoil it. Oh hey, looks like we made it to... never mind. In this attempt, Magikarp ends up making it all the way to Snorlax. Every turn an anxiety-inducing mess. Me hoping that Magikarp can eventually see whether or not this fight is possible? Is it? Okay, Espeon goes down. The preservation of my sanity comes down to this. Here it is, moment of truth. It is! Snorlax goes down, and Blastoise, oh my gosh, is this it? Oh my god, I'm so feeling the energy, I'm feeling it. Magikarp is hot, let's go. No, no, not Charizard again, no! No, my heart's broken. My mind's broken, but we have to press on. Seems like these last few serious trainers have taken up quite a lot of airtime on this strange program. And like, don't even get your hopes up, because you know exactly what's gonna happen. I mean, I'm gonna have to show like 100 more attempts. Back at Charizard? No way. No way. No way. Yeah, wait. I can't. What is there to say? Give me a second. I can't think. Isn't it ironic that what's been left behind by Mewtwo after Red captured it is what propelled this Magikarp to ultimate victory? This Magikarp truly has reached the top of the waterfall. The mighty have all fallen, and the dragon has ascended to heaven. This run was pure, unadulterated torture. And even though I got psyched out at the end, finding out it was all possible after having given up, it was such a fulfilling experience. To see a lowly Magikarp manage to beat the game with no items in battle, it's insane. And as far as I'm aware, this has never been done. Quite frankly, I don't recommend it. There's one deflating aspect though. It was so subject to randomness that it almost feels like Magikarp won the lottery rather than earning a hard-fought victory. But due to the silly hope that Blue was not guaranteed to use any full restores, guess I felt it was possible. Since Magikarp ended up completing the run, it needs to be judged on the merits of its completion time, right? Grand total of 64 hours and 32 minutes in-game time. No way Magikarp doesn't end up at the bottom of the list. I'm planning to rank all the Pokemon by their in-game clear times without being impacted by my mistakes. No penalties for resets or anything. I'll put that together as more runs are completed. However, having seen the way this run went, I have a funny feeling that Caterpie, Weedle, and Sunkern won't be able to make it all the way through. While those are thoughts to save for the future, they certainly validate how massive this achievement is for the Carpal Tunnel King. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.